connection to the air conditioning and the posted. It was posted or called.
I think there is something up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it is 4 o'clock and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please note that we have 2 absent members, Vice Mayor Kelly Carrillo and the community member Rob Taylor. They are not here. Everyone else is present. And the meeting was moved from the J. Coleman Conference Room and we are in the McCracken Conference Room due to air conditioning problems in the other room. We will now go into oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the audit committee on any scheduled matter. Unless additional time is authorized by the committee, all commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual and no more than 15 minutes total. Do we have anyone here that would like to do oral communications? I don't see any. Do we have anyone on virtually?
No, yeah.
Thank you. We'll move on to scheduled matters. We do have a quorum to be able to approve the minutes. Did everyone have time to look at the minutes? Do we have a recommendation? Is there a recommendation? On the chamber. We have a motion. I'll make that second. Any discussion? If not, signify your approval by saying aye. Aye. Unanimously approved. And I just want to move on to the next item with the comment made that the community member is not present and the vice mayor is not present. Go ahead and proceed.
Thank you, Mayor. The second item is the review of the process of community civic events, more specifically, the establishment of a special event process and an application process. We presented components of this item previously. We're now seeking direction to work on some formulation of this process. Eureka Laurie has been working diligently on this topic. She's reached out to other cities in her region to see what their process that they've established as well. So there's a few different paths that we can go down in regards to actually quickly an overview of past conversations. The difference between a community civic event and a special event is that a community civic event is based on nonprofit, open to the community for the community benefit. A special event is an activity that is held by an organization that is a private organization, for-profit organization that is a business opportunity or is especially to raise funds that may not be open to the whole community. For example, there could be a festival downtown that there's paid to get into, or something of that nature, or even other places. So one of the avenues that we're exploring to get recommendation would be if the committee would recommend that, similar to the community civic event, that the city should provide the resources for the future, or if the applicant themselves should, through the application process, get a closure plan approved and provide all the resources for the future. Eureka worked with staff and had an analysis completed to close small events, so we're to close the parking lot. We were looking at staff costs of approximately $459. And so looking at that, and that is can vary depending if it's on weekend outside of regular business hours, and so then we have the time charges and things of that nature to bring staff in. So that's the first item of discussion in regards to the especially. Another item of discussion is if the committee would want to recommend a maximum number of events per year. Some other agencies in the region have that in place. Most recently, SIA approved the process, which they have a maximum number
What's the max, do you know?
It's based off the order, so it's like, I wanna say it's 4. This is in front of me, and we were just like, like per year.
Oh, 4 per year, 1 for.
So. I think it was something. So that's something to consider. We also established draft application that we're working towards. And based upon the civic event application, view time, there's the analysis was completed that it would approximately cost about $59.50 based off of the time of the view it. Now, obviously, time varies if it's going to be more complex. The visual plan reviewed by Public Works and Police Department and the Fire Department. But on average,
You guys gonna bring it down to just an hourly amount? We're gonna try to.
I would imagine my recommendation for simplicity is if we were able to just have one application cost, it would just be a
An
P.
application.
People would know.
Yeah,
Basically.
we're supposed to get, our goal is to try to have the match the cost of services being provided as closely as possible.
I mean, it's open for, obviously it's just for afternoon, just.
I mean, I suppose we could do like a set fee and then have an amplified fee if it's more complicated type.
My recommendation, if we were to do that, would just set parameters.
Yeah.
Similar to the project review committee, to where you would have like a small project, small project.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Project, it would be a small event, medium event, larger event, and certain triggers.
That would be better just because I think especially they're gonna vary, right? Potentially.
So you kind of like that.
Yeah.
So those are I think right now the directions that are needed.
And then resources.
And the resources, right? So that was the first one is resources. There's the goal or the intention to have the city use city resources for these, or to have the resources. Similarly in other areas, resources, they must have a plan that's reviewed and approved.
And then that would be based on their.
Correct. So there would be conditions of approval, similarly to community civic events. Similarly, on the kind of the process, there would be an application process that would be that staff is recommending 60 days, minimum 60 days prior to the event. The staff review the concurrence with the applicant, so that they're in agreement with the conditions of approval. Then have an item go before city council for consider.
I said that, I don't have a problem with the process. I'm only one person here, but I would like to see that the applicant provide the resources incorporated in there again. I agree.
So that is, that's what we have for that. So, and then in regards to the maximum number of events per year per applicant, is there any? And again, we could bring this item back at a future date to discuss.
I would like to have it brought back anyway, since we have two that would probably want to do further input. As far as how, per quarter, that's 4 per year, I would say that's a lot. But then I don't know, this would be something new for us. This would be something new in this process for us. And I want to say we can start small and then expand. And maybe, again, I'm only one person here. I'd like to see 2 per year and then see how it works.
And one thing I do want to know, my prior area of economic development, I would say that those having events in the community, having downtown. All people downtown to the part of the community. In my opinion, is a good thing for our community. It brings vitality, sense of place. So staff is not approaching this as a negative, just as how do we have a process that individuals can use? This
Well, and I'm not, because I was gonna say, I don't have as big of a deal. To me, it's not as big of a deal on the number of them. If they're covering the costs of things and the resources. of
Okay,
things that
that
would
makes
normally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the only thing is the use of public property,
And that's what this.
that could get difficult, you know, depending on how repetitive, but 4 per year, I mean, I suppose we can try, I mean,
How does
1 per
that
quarter,
give
and you are spreading them out 1 per quarter, so maybe that's helpful. I don't know.
However the council's do it. And so I think that whatever the direction is, like you said, it's parsed out like 4 per year. And then that brings up a good point, Julia, in regards to, because this is specifically on public property, this is on city property.
Right.
If they were to have this, private, it's not, doesn't fall in this category. So that gets to the point of, I guess, like, to look at San Luis Obispo, they have a fee set for the use of different parking lots and different public facilities in their community that are used for these things that they have assigned to be used. And people can have exclusive use for events. I don't know if that's something that we need to do as well.
I would say we need to, just because it's public property and it's not for public purpose. So we should be, you know, we're not supposed to, that would be potentially considered an obligation. You know what I mean? Like, we have public funds. So you could do a, some sort of facilities rental fee. And then, which I think also, and then the other thing I think needs to be part of this is that it just because they apply for it and they meet the parameters of however many you've said, doesn't necessarily mean they get to do it when, you know, depending on what's going on otherwise in the community. What is that parking lot being used, say it's parking lot? What is that parking lot being used for at that same time? We had this issue come up, right? Because we had one that was wanting to be done right at the end or during the veterans.
Yes.
Veterans
Yes.
And so I think that where we knew that the public was going to need the access to the parking lot.
Correct.
So I think that it will also, you know, we need to have something in there where it says, look, it just, you know, we are not going to necessarily, yeah, you know, we're going to have to take that into consideration, and the city has the ability. This is not just because we set a parameter doesn't mean that it's granted that you can have your event when you want it, where you want it, you know.
And part of that, I agree. I think that in the actual like lines and
Yeah.
adopted language. And some protections on that. also
Yeah.
apply to City council.
There's discretion at the city council side. It's, you know, based on activities.
Does that help you?
It does.
A little bit.
I could not get behind city staff. I understand, like,
It really gets to the point that Julia was making, is we really should be covering costs.
yeah,
And sometimes you go out there, it can be an expensive cost.
yeah.
And I mean, and I'm not discounting that there's not a benefit even to these special events, but it's still a very ancillary, it's still the primary benefit is for the organizations that are putting it on. So.
No, I was just trying to set the
Yeah.
parameter that like, we're not opposed to this, we just think it's a good thing.
Yeah, you want to encourage it, you don't want to make it cost prohibitive, but at the same time, we're not supposed to be subsidizing either.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make the One more time. Four 15. Meeting is adjourned.